Hey, what's going on YouTube? This is Chaos-Reighn here showing you a update to my iShot build. As you know, I have been making some pretty good progress and trying to get as much as I can. Now I have been doing a little extra spending here and there to try and get myself a little excuse me, a little bit more comfortable with my setup, and I do have a a point where I am trying to figure out what I'm doing next on my next piece of gear, which is probably going to be boots. So, to start, I will say that I have been farming between grand heists, and contracts, and all that. I've been farming that a lot from the purchases I have made, and I am starting to save towards my headhunter already. I will probably have it, hopefully, if I just keep casually grinding by the end of the week. I am still doing T1 to 5 maps, but I will probably be moving to T9 to 10 maps eventually, just so I can start sustaining Awakened Sextants. As of now, there's a lot of people who know about this farming strategy, and it is getting harder and harder to maintain Sextants. It is also harder to get scarabs, but a little bit less so because scarabs are a little bit of a commodity and not a lot of people have a lot regardless. However, I have been doing a lot more heisting and a lot more just farming Rogue Harbor, but let's give you a rundown of the changes in my build. As you can see, we have a 6-link Ferals for going with a 6-link Death Opus. I'm using a Asenath Chant with a random enchant. Currently, I had bought this for 3 exalts just so I can have it, and I will be changing this completely as soon as I get the one of the people who decided they were going to help me with an enchant to enchant it, and I will be paying them when that happens. This, unfortunately, on console, it's a very small amount of people who actually go out of their way to enchant for you. I have no aspect of the cat on my gear right now. I do have another pair of gloves which I was using, and I think you've seen before. They are in here. Let's see, right here, and they are the gloves I use normally. However, when I'm doing just kind of the low tier juiced maps, I use these gloves instead because getting those blight pods is insanely good. I am not res capped currently, but when I make my new boots, I do plan to have I do plan to be res capped as soon as I get them crafted up and ready to go. I need to work on getting 35 movement speed I-86s, and then I'm just gonna see where I can go from there. So, other than that, we are still doing self chill. I've changed my ascendancy back to the Deadeye because I like far shot too much, and because Deadeye allows me to scale a little bit more into crit. I have my bow nodes already spec'd in. We are running 3 non-damaging element clusters and making sure we get as much effective non-damaging elements as we can, up to 300%, so we have the max chill effect on ourselves and are able to attack really quick. Currently, I have all my potions, and I am using a mana potion, and I'm using the mana potion because this basically allows me to spam my ice shot with my single and my multi-target indefinitely while I am mapping. It's very strong for my build for that reason. I have most of my mana reserved because I'm not using a replica Hiri's Truth this time. I want to try and use this amulet and make it work. As you know by now, I work on each time I do an ice shot, I try to kind of tweak it and work on it a little bit. I am still only using 2 curses. My Awakened Hex Touch is only level 1. I don't plan to get it up to any level higher anytime soon. What I might do is I might buy lenses once they appear more in the market. I am using this typical Blood Rage Cypress Bark Hydrosphere. Excuse me. We have Ice Shot, Added Cold, Barrage Support, Inspiration Support, Elemental Damage with Attacks, and Cold Penetration for our single target. We have Hypothermia, Ice Shot, Awakened Chain, Elemental Damage with Attacks, Awakened Cold, and Inspiration for our not single target. I will be eventually getting Awakened Damage with Attacks, another one to finish off my single target, and I will be dropping Hypothermia for Awakened Cold Penetration as well. I have all of my jewels that I need, aside from one potential inspired learning. If I get an inspired learning, I would really prefer to get to 95 first. That would allow me to mostly put in points to add another cluster, which would be a large cluster, much like this elemental damage cluster down here. Except what I want to do is I want to get a, this is really good by the way for this build. What I want to do is I want to get another non-damaging element notable so I can unspec a couple of nodes and save some. I also need to anoint my breath stealers. Once I anoint my breath stealers, I will be taking this notable over here, Breath of Rhyme. Breath of Rhyme gives you an innate 10% chance to freeze along with freeze duration on enemies, and then obviously the cold damage and the effect of cold ailments is really good for you too. Now if I take this anointment on my gloves, I will be able to go down here, unspec these two nodes, and that saves me 2 points to spec into literally anything else I want to. Of course, it's I'm losing a little bit of duration in this, but that's fine because I will be needing these 2 points if I decide to go for another large cluster here and finishing off my tree. I am taking the full bow wheel because this side of the bow wheel gives you attack speed, this side gives you crit. We aren't taking any of these right now because we don't need it. We are currently taking this as well, and this is another 2 points that I can save as soon as I get my other cluster jewel set up and hopefully save those points. All in all, our build is functioning pretty solidly. I need to finish off my boots and do aspect of the cat, but I will show you what my current plan and current plan of action is. We have currently this rolled for 2 maps, though I'm probably not going to be running this anytime soon because it's only 2 of my 4 maps that I would need. We have a bunch of watchstones still with a bunch of uses. We have Nemesis on I think 1 or 2 of them left. We've run pretty much out of currency. Another thing we have done is I will now go to my hideout so I can show you. Another thing we have done is we have actually had someone help us out to get the points we needed. Obviously speaking, we are not anywhere near an Awakener level to try and push for this point of the Atlas, especially not able to push anything crazy. However, I will say I have purchased and or traded for a bunch of watchstones, which I will be using to artificially level my Awakening level up. Let me find them real quick. Aside from obviously those ones, I will be using all these to level my Awakening level up, obviously, but I will also be buying contracts left and right, and eventually I will be running some red maps just so I can get my Awakener level up. But not my Awakener level, but my my completion up, and I want my completion up because my next form of farming is going to be heist. I need 35 more map objectives before I can do heist, and before I even decide to do heist, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be farming a lot more heist to basically get more red tier maps. That way I don't have to buy each and every individual map I haven't completed. My goal is to get every single area with silver watchstones and be artificially level Awakener level 8 without even having to complete Cyrus once. I also do not want to complete Cyrus once because once I get to a point that I am able to farm with a headhunter and drop self-chill altogether, just use standard ice shot the way I normally run it with a little bit of tweaks here and there, a little bit of little bit of change here and there just so I can make it its own build. I will be definitely posting the in-game version of this build when that time comes. As of now, headhunters are roughly 120, anywhere between 130 to 150 exalts right now on console, and that's a pretty big gap in what I need to get to. However, in the past couple of days, I have farmed up a lot of exalts. I have spent a lot of exalts, as you can see. Bought that, and I bought that, which was 6 exalts. I would have been at 29 right there. I have found a couple of decent things. I have sold a couple of decent things. I still have all these which aren't selling. So what I'm going to do here is I'm probably going to either purchase or um, have someone who's willing to do like a gamble with me, split the at cost corruption chambers, and tell them that I'll split whatever I sell it for them to them. We'll see. Long story short, we have been pretty busy. We have placed most of our Blight or our Delirium Orb maps in our tab, pricing them at 20, 40, 60, so on and so forth, depending on how many orbs they have on them. The average price for Delirium Orb is 20 to 30 chaos, so it's more than fair. We have a lot of prophecies still left. We have sold a lot more prophecies, but we do need to start emptying our tab soon, because that will be another method to gain a little bit more currency here and there. And I will most likely start offering on silver coins in the next day or two, just so I can restock. As you know, twice enchantments are not cheap. Everyone that is running any kind of enchantment kind of situation is running many twice enchanted. So usually if you can get a good stockpile, you can basically do whatever you want with enchants and get almost any enchant you're looking for, except apparently mine. It is what it is. I have a bunch of essences. I have sold a couple to someone, but as you see, I have a whole bunch of essences, and they are just adding up and adding up and adding up. These screamings drop very frequently inside in the Tyrann's End notable exotic goods, and they drop a lot in heist. So basically, when I'm just heisting and casually just grinding away at heist, I just get a whole bunch of shrieking essences, and when I get a whole bunch like this, I can then upgrade them, one at a time until I have a bunch of deafening essences. And at that point, I just have a lot more value to my name than I had initially, and that's really good for, what I'm trying to do with this. So go ahead and make as many deafenings as possible. Cool. So, without further ado, this has been Chaos-Reighn, showing you an update to where I'm at in my build and where I'm at on what my goals are. I will try not to go into any, too many yellow tier maps, just so I can kind of prove that, most of my currency is farmed via red tier. However, sextants are a lot harder to get. Now, instead of running these maps, what I might be doing is I might be running these. If you see, there is a little thing that says 2 map rooms. Now, those 2 map rooms are equivalent to 4 map chests in that heist. And even though it's enchanted armaments, those map rooms usually are like carry the value of these heists. I usually spend anywhere between 5 to 10 chaos for enchanted armaments. They are extremely inexpensive, and they are extremely worth it if you just want the loot in the chest instead of the end result room. Now, there are obviously a couple of downsides. If you don't have the end result item that is a good item or whatever, like for example gems or replicas, it's kind of losing an innate value at the end. But in my personal experience, I've found times where I walk out with like 5, 10 or more awakened sextants and a whole bunch of maps, including delirium maps. These chests can be have delirium maps, and I believe blight maps, if I'm not mistaken, and maps that have blight on them. So they're very valuable, and in my opinion, if you're looking for a budget way to farm awakened sextants, do these. As I said, if your build is able to do pretty much, if you've been following my guides for, up until this point, your build should be very well off. You should be well off enough at least to be doing these white. If you can't do them white, then you might have to worry about your defenses and reses and stuff like that. Obviously speaking, my reses aren't capped, and I do need to still anoint my gloves, craft new boots, and get all that done. But I'm just kind of having fun. Today was kind of a casual day. I played a little bit, but I haven't been going too hard because I've been a little busy with my own personal stuff. But without further ado, I do appreciate you guys tagging along in my adventures, like always. There is something you know, there's something to be said for the people who are enjoying my content and, you know, regularly commenting. And I do appreciate all the effort spent and time spent on my channel. And without further ado, this has been Chaos-Reighn bringing you an update to my iShot build for this league, which is currently a iShot self-chill Deadeye. And it is pretty fun. Like always, I love iShot. I'm thoroughly enjoying myself. I just need to kind of tweak a little bit of things and I'll be done. Thanks very much again. Take it easy, everybody.